Delta 123, connect Denver Center 134.5.
Second for Delta 123.
Delta 123, connect Denver Center 134.5.
34.5 Delta 123.
What's up, man? Ready for the brief.
Denver Center Delta 123, 3200, climbing 14,000.
Delta 123, Denver Center climbing D 17,000.
17,000 Delta 123.
Delta 2595, currents available, advise ready to copy.
Ready to copy, 2595.
Delta 2595, clear to the Portland Airport, Channel 6 departure, vectors to Puzo, Crater 2 arrival, maintain 9,000 and squawk 7250.
And can you repeat the beginning of the route for 2595?
Delta 2595, Seattle 6 departure, vectors Puzo, Crater 2 arrival.
Clear to Portland, Seattle 6 departure, vectors to Buzo, Crater 2 arrival. Climb maintain 9,000 and 72905, Delta 2595.
Delta 2595, squawk 7250.
Squawk 7250, Delta 2595.
Delta 2595, read back correct. November 9875, proceed direct to Linz and climb and maintain flight level 180.
Direct Linz and climb maintain flight level 180, Twin Cessna 9875.
American 235, connect NorCal departure.
What was that frequency, sorry? American 235?
American 235, as published on the departure chart.
Roger, American 235.
Okay, American 235 is going to departure, Delta 123 on course 17,000. November 9875 with Aspen departure, direct Linz up to 180, 5 Charlie X-ray, flight level 470 on course. Anyone who has a squawk code on the ground has a clearance. Any questions?
No questions.
Your control.
My controller, Jay. Well, there you go, man. You've already got a...
North Cal departure, American
Already got yourself an
235,
account.
7,300, climbing via the SDIC 3.
American 235, NorCal departure, radar contact, climb and maintain, flight level 190.
Climb maintain, flight level 190, American 235.
Delta 123, turn left, heading 090.
090 Delta 123.
Delta 123, continue left turn, direct to Grand Junction, VOR, join Victor 134 on course.
Continue left turn to direct Grand Junction and join Victor 134 Delta 123.
That's a pilot nav, but I don't know what he's doing there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Oh.
Portland ground Alaska 592, ready for taxi.
Alaska 592, Portland ground, runway 10 left at Echo, taxi via Echo 2 Echo. Alaska 592, Portland ground, runway 10 left at Echo, taxi via Echo to Echo.
10 left Echo, taxi via Echo for 590.
American 235, contact Oakland Center 132.9, or correction, 127.45, 2745.
127.45, American 235.
Medford's getting a little bit worse too.
Center, American 235's 14,900 for climbing via the S-Stick 3.
American 235, Oakland Center, roger. Climb and maintain flight level 350.
Climb and maintain flight level 350, American 235.
Okay, so now Delta actually did right here because he's on. All he did was follow the ODP, which just is a vector off the runway. So yeah, he did need to get direct to Grand Junction. He's gonna need something other than staying on the heading. Oh, and actually, no, that's not correct. Runway 29. Yeah, so this is what he was on. So actually, he should have been going direct to Grand Junction here because here we go. So takeoff runway 29, climb via heading 292 to 7,000, then a left turn to 240 until receiving. So here's the key here: until receiving Grand Junction VOR DME, then proceed direct to Grand Junction. So yeah, all he did was sit on the 240 heading instead of actually going direct to Grand Junction.
Portland Tower, Alaska 92, holding short 10 left at
Alaska 592, Portland Tower, runway 10 left at Echo, cleared for takeoff, wind 100 at 4.
10 left, cleared for takeoff. 92.
How'd your arrival go into Salt Lake there, Fueler? Make it okay? Make it first attempt. $200. Okay, so that's it's a little below minimums, or below what? That's a little at minimums, I guess. What, for just a straight in ILS? I guess that's all you needed to do was just the regular ILS. If you had it inside at 200 though, that's not too bad at all. That's it's better than what UPS had before you. Still looking a little dicey there too. Visibility 1/8. Looks like the RVR's lifted a little bit, but still that indefinite ceiling at 200. Remember, 90875, contact Denver Center 120.47.
120.47, Twin Cessna 9875.
Seattle ground, Delta 2595, B gates with the weather ready for taxi.
2595, Seattle ground. Good evening, runway 16 left, taxi via Bravo.
Runway 16 left via Bravo, Delta 2595, good evening.
I think Seattle's south right now, yeah, 120 at 3, they should be. Let's confirm that real quick. Yep, we're good.
Denver Center, this is Twin Cessna 9875, checking in, flight level 180.
Remember, 90875, Denver Center, roger. Delta 123, change to my frequency 120.47.
20 and 47, Delta 123. Delta 123 on your frequency.
Delta 123, roger. We're going to have merging target procedures to apply here between 975 and Delta 123 since they're 1,000 feet apart. And 180 is usable right now because the altimeter's high. If the altimeter was below 29902, we would not be able to use 180. Lowest usable would become flight level 190 in that case. So we'd have to have him up at 19 in order to ensure separation. But since the altimeter's high, Aspen is 3028. That's fine. General rule of thumb and route controllers, a lot of them will try to stay away from the use of flight level 180, especially if the altimeter is like, you know, hovering around 29902.
Salt Lake clearance, Alaska 744 with the weather, going to Medford.
Alaska 744, Salt Lake clearance. Good evening again. Cleared to Medford Airport, PCOP 5 departure. Battle Mountain transition that is filed. Climb via the SID, maintain 10,000. Squawk 7155. Oh, he's going to need the departure frequency too.
PCOB and Bravo Alpha Mike transition. BCOB 5, Bravo Alpha Mike transition, 10,000, climb via SID 7155, Alaska 744.
Alaska 744, read back correct. I also have a new departure frequency for you. It's going to be 135.5, 35.5.
135.5, Alaska 744.
Alaska 592, contact Portland departure.
Over to Portland departure for Alaska 592.
Delta 123, traffic 12 o'clock, 10 miles, opposite direction, Cessna 340 at flight level 180.
Portland
Roger,
departure,
Delta
Alaska
123.
592 with you at 7,000 feet.
Alaska 592, Portland departure, radar contact, climb and maintain 15,000, 15,000.
Up to 15,000 for 592.
November 90875, traffic 12 o'clock, 7 miles, opposite direction, Boeing 737 at 17,000 has you in sight.
And 9875, have him in sight. I just turned on my landing light.
So we're good there. Just merging target procedures requires the traffic advisory, so. Delta 123, to set to maintain 16,000, 16,000, contact Aspen approach 123.8.
16,000 and 123.8, Delta 123.
Alaska 592, contact Seattle Center 121.4 for higher.
Over to center at 121.4 for 590.
Aspen approach at Delta 123 at
Seattle Center, Alaska
16,700, descending
592 with you at
16,000,
8,500,
information
climbing
kilo.
to maintain 15,000.
Delta 123, Aspen approach, roger. Information Lima just became current now. The altimeter's 3028. Say approach request if you have one.
We will get Lima and we requested Demi Echo, runway 15, Delta 123.
Delta 123, roger, expect that. And break Alaska 592, Seattle Center, climb and maintain flight level 230.
Up to 230 for 592.
Delta 123, we have Lima.
Delta 123, roger, thank you. Delta 123, turn left heading 030, vectors localizer DME Echo, final approach course, descend to maintain 14,000.
030 to the left and 14,000, Delta 123.
Remember 90875, contact Denver Center 118.57.
118.57, 9875. Denver Center, Twin Cessna 9875, checking in, flight level 180.
Remember 90875, Denver Center, roger. Here's the localizer DME Echo approach here for Aspen. Basically, we turn on outside of Jargu, which is over here. Get a vector to join between Ajax and Jargu due to the terrain. Hey, what's up, X-Plane? Oh, that's good.
Seattle Tower, Delta 2595, 16 left.
Delta 2595, Seattle Tower, runway 16 left, cleared for takeoff, wind to 110 at 3.
Cleared for takeoff, 16 left, Delta 2595.
Delta 123, turn right, heading 060.
060 Delta 123.
Delta 123, turn right, heading 120, intercept runway 15 localizer.
120 and
Or
intercept
localizer,
the 15 localizer, Delta 123.
Delta 123, 6 miles from Jargu, maintain 14,000 until established on the localizer, clear to localizer DME Echo approach.
14,000 and until established, cleared localizer DME Echo approach Delta 123.
Alaska 592, contact Seattle Center 135.15.
Over to 35.15 for 592. Seattle Center, Alaska 592 with you at 18,000, climb to maintain 230.
Alaska 592, Seattle Center, climb and maintain flight level 350. Should be flight level 180 when you're reading that on frequency.
Up to 350 for 592.
Delta 2595, contact Seattle departure.
Departure 2595.
Switch up this here real quick.
Seattle departure, Delta 2595, 3,500 for 9,000, Seattle 6.
Delta 2595, Seattle departure, radar contact, climb and maintain 17,000.
Climb maintain 17,000, 2595.
Delta 2595, proceed direct to Buzo, resume on navigation.
Direct Buzo, ONAV 2595.
Delta 123, contact Aspen Tower 118.85.
118.85 for Delta 122. Aspen Tower, Delta 123, localizer Demi Echo.
Delta 123 Aspen Tower, runway 15, clear to land, wind 190 at 6.
Runway 15, clear to land, Delta 123.
Some VFR traffic that just set that off there. It's passing behind him. I'm not going to worry about pointing that out. So here I've initiated a handoff to Harold, which is indicated too in that fourth line data box on the lower right hand side. You'll see the H and then the dash LX. LX is our internal code for ZLA. So the aircraft is in handoff. Once the handoff is purchased, you'll see the data block change. Actually, more so the target symbol. But the data block will change. There'll be an O followed by the sector that owns the target. So still have 2 minutes here. Again, that leader line is just indicative of where the aircraft is supposed to be within 2 minutes. Usually if the airplane gets to within about 1.5 minutes of the sector boundary and he hasn't bought the handoff, I'll go up and talk to him about it. Delta 2595 contact Seattle Center 126.6.
126.6, Delta 2595.
Salt Lake Ground, Alaska 744, ready to taxi.
Alaska 744, Salt Lake Ground, runway 34 right, taxi via hotel.
34 right hotel, Alaska 744.
So you see the data block changed here when you bought the handoff.
Seattle Center, Delta 2595, 12,000 for 17,000.
New owner of the target is now the ZLA sector. So again, the O kind of cycles with the dash, indicating that he owns the target. You'll see that the target symbol changed as well. Delta 2595, Seattle Center, Roger. Seattle altimeter 29906.
29996, 2595.
American 235, contact LA Center 133.55. Good night. American 235, contact LA Center 133.55. Good night.
Contact LA Center 133.55, American 235. Good night.
Delta 123, exit left, join Alpha to the ramp, monitor ground point 9er, take care.
I left and the Alpha to the ramp, I'm on the ground, Delta 123.
Okay, so 90875 is going to be landing in Telluride. Just pulling up some weather for Telluride. That's a non-towered airport, so in this situation, basically just going to need to obtain an approach request from him. Weather looks pretty good there, 10 and clear.
Salt Lake Tower, Alaska 744, holding short of 34 right, ready for takeoff.
Alaska 744, Salt Lake Tower, runway 34 right, cleared for takeoff, wind calm.
34 right, clear for takeoff, Alaska 744.
Anyways, he's going to be cruising for a few more minutes, so we don't need to press him right away for an approach request. Like once he gets past Montrose, we'll probably start asking some questions. Gulfstream 5 Charlie X-ray is just on course to Van Nuys. Up high as well, 470. But he's also in a Gulfstream, so kill the data block. Try to keep the full data block up, even if the target's been, even if the communications transfer has occurred with the aircraft, just until they're across the sector boundary. In case for some reason you ever need to point out the traffic or refer to it for coordination purposes or for traffic emerging target procedure purposes, whatever. Just keep the full data block open until the aircraft is actually across into the next sector. So it's nice too, like with ERAM, and you guys will see this when I do those streams. You have the dwell lock feature, which kind of brightens up the call sign. So I use the dwell lock just to indicate when a communications transfer has occurred with an aircraft, and that way you can keep the full data block up and stuff. It's a little bit trickier with VRC. Kind of like I try to cock the data block, like I'll turn it down to the side if the communications transfer has occurred, just to visually remind myself that that's been conducted. Hey, Fosbury. No, not really. We don't enforce any sort of ground stop stuff. Really, it's I guess could we do it? Probably, but it's like not really necessary to simulate that level on here, unless somebody requested it. Alaska 744, contact departure.
Over to departure, Alaska 744. Salt Lake departure, Alaska 744. On the Peacock departure, 6.3 for 10,000.
Alaska 744, Salt Lake departure, radar contact, climb and maintain flight level 230.
230, Alaska 744.
Delta 2595, descend via the Crater 2 arrival, runway 10 left transition, Portland altimeter 3000.
Descend via the Crater 2 arrival, 10 left transition, 00 on the altimeter, Delta 2595.
Start flashing 5 Charlie X-ray over to LA. And some of you guys might be wondering to like 470 and he's westbound, shouldn't that be 46 or 48 for direction of flight? But RVSM stops at 41 and then we go to 2,000 foot spacing at that point. So 410 would actually be the last eastbound cruise, and then we go to 2,000 foot intervals after that. So westbound becomes 430, eastbound 450, and then westbound 470. Gulfstream 5 Charlie X-ray, contact LA Center 133.55. Good day. We'll just cock the data block to indicate that the communications transfers occurred.
Okay, 13355 Charlie X-ray, get it?
So he read back. Let's start picking this guy's brain here. Remember, 90875, advise when you have the Telluride weather and NOTAMs. Say approach request to enable.
9875 has the weather at Telluride and request RNAV GPS Zulu for runway 9 approach.
Remember, 90875, roger, expect RNAV Zulu runway 9 approach from the cones VOR.
We'll expect the RNAV runway Yankee 9 Zulu approach from the cones at VOR.
Okay, so now, just looking at the approach chart here for this, so he did file cones as the last point, which is good because that is an initial approach fix. So just pick up the approach from here, course reversal, pretty straightforward. Just looking at altitudes here, so we need to be at or above 13 at cones. Let's have a look at terrain here. We can go down to 13. Highest terrain near him is 12.4. 2,000 here, 11,000 over here, 15 here, but we can go down to 13 since he'll be crossing cones by that point. Remember, 90875 cross cones at VOR at or above 13,000, cleared RNAV Zulu runway 9 approach. Interim altitude.
9875 will cross cones at or above 13,000 and clear for the approach. So,
just keep an eye on some of this VFR traffic here too. This guy's merging onto cones here. Come back and look at him in just a minute. Delta 2595 VFR traffic, 10 o'clock, 5 miles northbound. Altitude indicates 13,600. Type unknown.
We have him in sight. Looks like no factor. 2595.
Delta 2595. Contact Portland approach 125.35. 2535. Alright, should be 2435.
2535. Delta 2595.
2595. Correction to the frequency 124.35. 2435.
2435. Delta 2595. Portland approach, Delta 2595, 11,500 for 5,000.
Delta 2595, Portland approach information, Lima's current, advise when you've got that. Visual approach, runway 10 left or right, your choice, advise which side you prefer. And actually, it's going to be showing the wrong runways on the ATIS, so I'll have to go back and update that here, just the wind drop down, but still landing on the 10s tonight, so 10 left or right, and let me know what you'd like.
Okay, Roger, we'll go check the weather, and we're going to request the ILS 10 left.
Delta 2595, roger, expect that.
We'll go 2595.
Hasten.
Recycling the ATIS here so we get these runways fixed at Portland. Harbinger, thanks for the follow, man. Appreciate it. Chop Bob, what's up, man?
And Portland,
I don't know,
Delta 2595 as Mike.
Oh, 2595, Roger, thank you. I wouldn't say that I won by any means. If anything, I mean, Johnny and I are not the greatest golfers. The VOD is there though, like you can watch it and go back. And I took two because the phone died at one point, so the night one's pretty cool. Just I wanted to get a little bit of the night scene in because it is pretty neat how they light up the whole, basically the entire like course part of the place. Definitely, I enjoyed it though. Topgolf is cool. I would definitely go back and do that again. It's a little bit pricey, but I think a once in a while thing. It's definitely worth it. Pretty good service there. We didn't have any of the food because I really wanted to eat at Portillo's, which is a Chicago style joint, which I haven't. I don't get a chance to go back to Chicago as much as I used to. That's actually where I'm from. But yeah, we had to go hit Portillo's up since that was like right across the street. So we went there for dinner instead. But I mean, John Fly raves about the food. He said that like the mushi in particular is really good at
Delta
Topgolf.
123, request IFR to Grand Junction.
Delta 123 Aspen clearance cleared to Grand Junction Airport. Linz 8 departure Grand Junction transition direct. Climb via the SID. Squawk 43. I'm sorry, Cracks. Let me get you a new beacon code. Squawk 2045.
Delta 123 cleared to Grand Junction Airport via Linz 8 departure junction. VOR, then direct climb via seat and squawk 2045.
Delta 123, read back, correct? All right, so we're going to be working Delta in on the ILS. Let's come back here. Yes, yeah, I went to the one. I had a chance to go to the one out in Burnsville when I was traveling through there last time. I had like a 3.5 hour sit between flights from Atlanta on the way up to Grand Forks. So one of my buddies that lives down in Apple Valley just came up to the airport, picked me up, and we went out to dinner there. I probably picked up like 4 Italian beef sandwiches to go, and I just stuffed them in my bag and just brought them back through security. So I had Portillo's for the whole week. But it's so good, man. Like I miss it, and I was really happy to see that they have one. It's only like 40 minutes up the road from here too. It's really not too far. My parents are actually looking at moving too. They're looking at some different housing opportunities. The homeowners association fees for this place that we're at right now are very high, and they only continue to get worse. And there's some other development stuff that's going on that's not really favorable for them to want to stay around here. So they're looking at moving up to Sun City or somewhere in that area, which is a little bit further north up I-75. So if they end up moving, it's probably going to be sometime within the next year, I would imagine. But they're going to go look at some places up there, which is much closer to Portillo's. So that makes me happy. As long as you're close to Portillo's. Owl's Italian Beef. I haven't heard of that place. River North. Okay, I'll have to keep that one in mind. I like trying new places when I go down to the cities. My ex-girlfriend, she was when she was in flight training at UND. We used to go. We went down to the cities on a number of occasions to go try, just to go find restaurants to go to and stuff, and try new things. There's a lot of good places down there. Definitely, like that's an option. That's an area that I'm actually seriously considering moving to. Is Minneapolis. That would be on the radar of places that I would like to potentially reside in, like longer term. Even though it's cold up there, it's like I can stomach it. I've been in North Dakota for freaking ever, 6 years, 7 years now, 7 years. You just stay inside and drink lots of liquor.
Junction ground Delta 123. The terminal request pushback onto Alpha.
Delta 123 grounds pushback approved onto Alpha. Expect runway 33.
Pushback approved and we'll expect you 3 Delta 123.
Alaska 744, climb and maintain flight level 300. Sorry for the level off. Contact Salt Lake Center on 128.72 as well.
Climb maintain 300, and just to confirm 128.72.
Alaska 744, affirmative 128.72.
128.72, Alaska 744.
So the arrival here is just breaking Delta off onto the downwind. We do need to extend out just a little bit because of the approach intercept altitudes and the minimum vector altitudes. They get a little bit steeper the further west you go away from Portland. Let's go ahead and kill the clutter. Al's Italian beef. Yeah, okay. I haven't been to that one. I'll have to next time I'm in Chicago. I'm looking at possibly making a trip there soon.
Alaska 744 is passing 237 for 30,000.
Alaska 744, Salt Lake Center, Roger. Maintain flight level 300.
300, Alaska 744.
Delta 2595, turn left heading 190, descend and maintain 4,000.
Left 190 down to 4,000, Delta 2595.
Dearborn in Ohio, okay, nice. Yeah, I was up in, I spent a summer at a friend's place up in, I was off school in Southport on the north side, south of Wrigleyville. That was was it Lakeview? Is that the district? I can't remember. It's off the Brown line. We were blocked from the Southport stop on the Brown line. That was a really fun summer, man. I really like Chicago too. Chicago's a great city. I grew up there. I was raised in Chicago. I was born on the East Coast, but I was raised in Chicago. I still consider myself basically a Chicagoan at heart. I was 3 years old when we moved to Chicago.
And Denver, this is Twin Cessna 9875, has the runway in sight.
Or 9875, roger. No traffic observed between you and Telluride. Report IFR cancellation in the air or on the ground this frequency. Change to advisory frequency approved.
9875, I'd like to cancel IFR and have a good evening.
Delta 2595, turn left heading 130, intercept runway 10 left, localizer.
Left 130, intercept 10 left, localizer, Delta 2595.
Twin Cessna 875, IFR cancellation received. Squawk and maintain VFR, frequency change approved, safe landing.
9875, have a good evening, sir.
Delta 2595, descend and maintain 3,000.
3,000, 2595.
Delta 2595, 3 miles from Boxham, cross Boxham at or above 3,000. Cleared ILS runway 10 left approach.
Cross box, at or above 3,000, cleared ILS 10 left approach, Delta 2595.
Yeah, big fan of Italian beef, so I'll have to go and hit up. I should be making a trip back to Chicago. Probably, I'm looking around Easter. My friend Travis, that you guys have seen him in my streams before. The ones that I've done, the IRL streams, like some pool streams, and then also some golf streams with him over the last month or so. Him and I grew up together, like basically my brother. I've known him since he was 2 and I was 3, so almost 30 years now we're going on friendship. So he lives in DC now, but he's planning a trip back to Chicago, and he's asked me to come down from North Dakota for the weekend too, just to spend Easter with his grandparents. Are basically my surrogate grandparents. So if I make a trip, it'll probably be sometime around that first week of April. Get there for Easter, spend maybe 2 or 3 days. So we'll see. X-Plane Pilot, or VIP, I should say, X-Plane VIP. We're using a modified version, a pretty heavily modified version of VRC. Visually speaking, it looks the same, but on the back end, it's very different. We basically have the rights to the software from Ross Carlson, the developer. It's not the most realistic in terms of ATC like simulation, but it's the best client to use for the nature of the service that we provide on here. That's like the easiest way that I can describe that. X-Plane, I'm actually from, I'm not far from Gurnee at all, actually. Like I grew up in Vernon Hills on the north side. It's Lake County. So, I mean, if you're 30 minutes from Gurnee, that can't be far at all. Wonderland, Vernon Hills, I've lived in those
As we
towns.
ground Delta
Libertyville.
123, we unable to taxi between Alpha 8 and Alpha 9 on Alpha and request taxi runway 33 full length.
Delta 123, Roger, runway 33, taxi via Alpha, and I'm sorry, you said you were unable to take Alpha to full length?
Affirmative, we can go down to Alpha 8.
Delta 123, Roger, runway 33, full length, taxi via Alpha, Alpha 8, and back taxi, runway 15.
Delta 123, taxi Alpha, Alpha 8, then back taxi runway 15 full length.
Probably have to use Bravo then to skim around. Just teardrop back onto the runway. Delta 2595, contact Portland Tower 123.77.
2377, Delta 2595.
Spring Grove, okay. I can't say I'm too familiar with that. I don't think, no, PilotEdge really, there's no immediate plan.
Portland Tower, Delta 2595 is on ILS 10 left.
Delta 2595, Portland Tower, runway 10 left, clear to land, wind 090 at 4.
Clear to land 10 left, Delta 2595.
Yeah, there's no immediate plans to expand outside of where we're covering right now. The western expansion area is still kind of, it's a continuous work in progress. There's a lot of changes that are happening on the back end with stuff. There's still more airports that we're implementing too. I think there's at least 4 more airports that are supposed to be coming in, and actually we should have a release coming out pretty soon for at least a couple more of them. I would say probably within the next few weeks. But yeah, I mean, the whole idea was to get the same number of airports that to provide top-down coverage to in the west that they have down in ZLA. But yeah, there's no plans to grow outside of this right now. This is probably going to be it for quite some time. Ten minutes from Fox Lake. Okay, cool.
Oakland Center, good evening. Redwood 1599 with you, flight level 360.
Redwood 1599, Oakland Center. Good evening. I'll have lower for you in about 20 miles.
Alright, awesome. We'll look for it. Redwood 1599.
Texas. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, no problem, Fueler. No, I'm glad you've been enjoying it, man. That's good. It's different. You know, it's not the same. And there's many of us, and like I said, I've made this clear to many of you guys too. I mean, you know, VATSIM's good for different things. It's each place, like each network has its own place depending on what you're looking
Spin
for.
Tower Delta 123, we back taxi 715. Can we use Bravo as well?
Delta 123 affirmative, back taxi approved, and then join Bravo 8, Bravo to full length.
Bravo 8, Bravo full length, Delta 123, thank you.
Delta 2595, exit right when able, join Alpha, Victor, and Kilo to the ramp, monitor ground point 9er. Have a good night.
Alpha Victor Kilo to the ramp, and we'll monitor ground point 9er. Have a good night. Delta 2595.
Yeah, says the guy that works on PilotEdge. Both networks have their own place for different things, you know, like in terms of the reason I'm still involved with it is mostly just because of the realism of the, you know, the radar clients and stuff. I'm a big fan of that. I like to keep up to speed with that stuff as much as possible. You know, and I mean, you can, and like, you know, I was saying this the other night on the stream, you can be a part of both networks. Like, there's nothing wrong with that at all. You know, you could do your flights like, you know, originating on the East Coast, and then, you know, just do that on VATSIM, and then, you know, once you hit the Denver Center airspace boundary, or however you're transitioning into the Western coverage area, just disconnect from VATSIM and load up on PilotEdge. It's that simple. Just close one client and start the next one. There's quite a few people that I see do that too. That way you can kind of get the best of coverage for areas that we don't cover, or at least have a better chance for coverage. Fueler, yeah, I think so. I'm definitely leaning towards trying to make things work for FS Expo.
Aspen Tower Delta
receiving a little bit of,
123,
push to
Bravo
get
9
there.
ready for
So,
departure.
Delta 123, Aspen Tower, runway 33, cleared for takeoff, wind to 190 at 6.
Runway 33, cleared for takeoff for Delta 123.
So yeah, there's definitely been some people pushing me to go to the expo. I've never really spent any time in Vegas aside from switching planes. So, and I was disappointed too, because it's like I was going to my buddy's wedding in Southern California, and I flew Allegiant from Grand Forks to Vegas, and then I switched planes and got on JetBlue. But in order to do that, anybody that's familiar with Vegas, I had to go from the D gates, go get my bag in the main terminal, get onto a bus, and then go over to the E gates in order to check in for JetBlue. So it was really a pain. So I ended up not having time to do anything. I didn't even have enough time to drop a quarter in a slot machine in the airport. It was like, wow, what a waste. And then on the way back, I flew back on. I went through United on through Denver. So, but yeah, so I haven't spent any time in Vegas. I would really like to, though. I'm sure that would be a great trip to make. It's definitely crossed my mind to try to get things together to get out to that. So it's on the radar. Let's put it that way. It is on Ground Point 9ers radar. Yeah, it looks like I know that they got that other one too. That one that's going on in Dallas, and it's what is like the week before or the week after or something. But everyone I'm talking to, especially like on the streaming team, John Fly, GSA members in general, it looks like everybody wants to go to Vegas. Like that's like the one to be at. So. Delta 123, contact departure.
After departure, Delta 123.
Alaska 592, contact Oakland Center 132.905.
Over to 32.905 for 590.
Redwood 1599, descend at pilot's discretion, maintain flight level 240.
Pilot's discretion down to 240 over to 1599.
Oakland Center, Alaska
Aspen departure,
592
Delta
with you at
123, 9800,
350.
and climbing
Delta 123, Aspen departure, radar contact, climb and maintain flight level 180.
180, Delta 1 to
Alaska 592, Oakland Center, roger. Let's see, is PilotEdge short staff? Not really sure. I want to answer that. I mean, yes and no. It's a difficult question to answer. I would lean more towards the side that we are slightly short-staffed. The reason being is because when we do get busy, it's kind of difficult sometimes to get another person to get on. So in some aspects we can be, especially like if there's like, you know, the group flight that occurred on Thursday night and the one that's going to happen tomorrow night. We're going to need extra people around to handle that for sure. At least 1 or 2 extra guys just to help keep focus on the group flight and stuff, and make sure that you know, it's not going to interfere too much with other people that are flying around aside from the group flight, because that always happens too. So if we were, you know, I know that events are like on the radar and
Chinook
stuff.
approach Cessna 4403 Romeo, on the ground at Sunnyside, IFR Yakima, ready to go in 5 minutes.
Cold call, standby. November 4403 Romeo, Chinook departure, roger. Cleared from the Sunnyside Airport to the Yakima Airport as filed. Maintain 6,000. Departure frequency 123.8. Squawk 4461. Hold for release.
That's cleared to Yakima Airport as filed. Maintain 6,000. Frequency 123.8. Squawk 4461. Hold for release. 4403 Romeo.
Skyx 03 Romeo. Readback correct time 0505 and 1/4. Clearance void if not off by 0515. If not off by 15, advise Chinook departure not later than 20 minutes after the hour of intentions. Released for departure.
Void if not off by 0515. 4403 Romeo.
03 Romeo. Readback correct. And again, released for departure. Frequency change approved.
Release for departure. Frequency change approved. 4403 Romeo.
Redwood 1599, descend via Surfer 2 arrival. Use the Monterey altimeter for now. That's 3003.
Alright, 3003, descend via the Surfer 2 arrival, Redwood 1599.
Yeah, it's short-staffed in that sense, I suppose. Yeah, it's like, you know, if we get the group flights going and stuff, it definitely can, it creates a little bit of an added workload, and a lot of it just has to do with, like, you know, the spacing, keeping focus on spacing and stuff, and trail spacing, and then also just the frequency change work as well. So it definitely can get a little saturated. So, you know, we get a group flight going and stuff where you've got, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys flying from point A to point B, Conga line style. Yeah, you need to have a couple of additional controllers to really make that work to everyone's benefit. So, but, you know, again, and I have to sort of state this too, like, if you guys want to see events, you're going to need to talk to Keith. Really, it's like, a lot of people are asking about it and stuff, and they want to see it happen. And I know that he's definitely mentioned that it's on the radar of things to do. I think the last one we did was like back in April, the last like official event. But yeah, you'll need to talk to him in order to, you know, I guess start the ball in motion. He would be the best point of contact to discuss those options with. Let's put it that way. Best way to put it. X-plane, I can't really answer that question. It's not that I don't want to, I just can't. So. That would be another question that, you know, I would direct you to Keith or Peter. Delta 123, contact Denver Center 120.47.
2047 Delta 123. Denver Center Delta 123, 17,800, climbing flight level 180.
Delta 123, Denver Center, roger. Did we take Nightbot off, or? There it goes. All right. You think he's got the chart for it? You might have the chart for it. I don't know. Suppose. I mean, yeah, I'd let those guys make the request if they want to do something like that. So we found a chart for the FMS bridge visual, like somebody had it somewhere. So I know what it's only like, what is it? It's only in like certain types of charts or something. It's like the Jefferson charts or whatever. Is that their typical visual approach clearance? I haven't spent a ton of time listening to NorCal finals, but that would make sense, you know, for noise abatement. I usually just tell people after Menlo cleared visual approach for only 28 left, but I could see them wanting to keep them over the water as much as possible. Delta 123, descend at pilot's discretion, maintain 15,000, Grand Junction, altimeter 3030.
My discretion 15,000 Delta 123.
And there you go. There's the chart. So here's a look at this. Okay, yeah, see, look at this here. May request this approach and initial contact with NorCal.
Chinook departure,
Oh,
Cessna
bookmark that. Thanks.
4403
Appreciate
Romeo,
you guys pulling that up.
2,800 climbing 6,000.
Number 4403 Romeo, Chinook departure ident. No transponder.
Ident 4403 Romeo.
403 Romeo, thanks. Radar contact 2 miles north of Sunnyside Airport. Maintain 6,000, Yakima altimeter 3002.
Maintain 6,000 4403 Romeo.
I'll go ahead and bookmark this though. Let's put this in here. Let's do FMS bridge. Probably actually download this too. Save it later. Hey, what's up, Jameson? How's it going, man? There was earlier. It's kind of slowed down a little bit. Redwood 1599, contact NorCal approach 121.3.
All right, 121.3 Redwood 1599.
Delta 123, contact Denver approach 119.7.
119.7, Delta 123.
Denver actually has
No
like a
approach,
satellite
good
sector they work
evening.
out
Redwood
here.
1599, passing 22.5, Surfer 2 arrival.
Redwood 1599, NorCal approach, Roger. San Francisco altimeter is 3003. Advise when you have the weather there, and expect a visual approach runway 28 left.
All right, we have the numbers, and looks like the visual 28 left for Redwood 1599.
Denver approach, Delta 123, 15,000.
ATIS, guys. ATIS, initial contact. Delta 123, Denver approach information uniform is current at Grand Junction. Advise when you've got that, and expect a visual approach runway 29er.
Delta 123, we have emission uniform, we'll expect visual to 9.
I'm about to sneeze. I can feel it coming, so just bear with me for a second. I have to start tearing up here. Delta 123, descend and maintain 13,000.
13,000, Delta 123.
Delta 123, turn left heading 210, vectors right base, runway 29er.
210, vector to right base, 29 and Delta 123.
That's a nice Grand Junction map, yeah. So it's very simple. Like, I think we need to get different MVA data for this airspace here as well. That's something I'm sure that we're going to need to get. Delta 123, advise when you have Grand Junction Airport in sight, 1 to 2 o'clock and 15 miles.
We'll advise Delta 123. And Delta 123, ground junction inside.
Delta 123, roger. Cleared visual approach runway 29er.
Cleared visual to 9, Delta 123.
Redwood 1599, contact NorCal approach 135.65.
135.65, Redwood 1599.
Ernie the Cat, how's it going, man? What's going on?
NorCal approach, good evening. Redwood 1599, passing 14,000, surfer 2 arrival.
Redwood 1599, NorCal approach, roger. Delta 123, contact Grand Junction Tower 118.1.
118.1 and Delta 123. Grand Junction Tower, Delta 123, visual to 9.
Delta 123, Grand Junction Tower, wind calm, runway 29er, clear to land.
29, clear to land, Delta 123.
I am doing well, sir, thank you. Yes, I'm doing well. Just starting my work week. Tonight's the start of my work week, so you guys will have me all week. You have Marcus in the morning, and then you'll have AJ in the afternoon for a good part of each day, actually. Because I've got long shifts tomorrow, I got long shifts Tuesday, I got long shifts Wednesday. And then, I don't know, we'll see what's going on this coming weekend here, too. But yeah, they got a group flight going on tomorrow, too. Cirrus Max is getting that set up. It looks like John Fly, Josh Gibbs, all those guys are going to be partaking in the festivities.
Center Alaska 592, we'll be stepping away for 10 minutes. We'll radio back and back online.
Alaska 592, approved as requested. And Bambino, I do fly not really much on PilotEdge lately. I can't right now because I'm actually in Florida. I'm working off of a really crappy laptop right now. It's just an old laptop, and anyways, I can't really do anything aside from controlling on this. That's about the most that I can do activity-wise. So I will be home though in about 3 weeks. So
Delta 123 wind check.
Delta 123 wind calm.
Roger.
So anyways, yeah, I'll probably get back into the flying. That's definitely on the radar as well for content. I do fly a bunch of different things on FSX, which I'm sure nobody cares about. And of course, it's like I get FSX running up really good and stuff, and it actually works really nice on my computer right now, but it's just old school, and I know nobody wants to watch streams of FSX because it's just like, it's not the new stuff. But yeah, I like to fly a bunch of different stuff, light GA all the way up to larger jets.
Chinook approach, sets up 4403 Romeo, have the 1 minute weather. Request ILS Yankee for 27.
03 Romeo, roger. Just be advised too, I've lost your mode C, ensure transponder mode C when you get a chance.
We'll do 4403 Romeo.
I don't like when that happens either, because there's no way, like we lose the data block too when that happens. Was 03 Romeo. Say again your approach request. You were looking for the ILS Yankee 27.
Affirmative. 4403 Romeo.
03 Romeo, roger. Skyx 03 Romeo, turn 10 degrees left, intercept runway 27 localizer, descend to maintain 4,300.
10 degrees left, 10 degrees left, and intercept the localizer, maintain 4,300 for 403 Romeo.
Redwood 1599, advise San Francisco Airport in sight, 10 to 11 o'clock and 5 miles.
We're looking for Redwood 1599.
What's going up, or what's going on, man? Alias Mr. Jones. Yeah, we had, yeah, that was probably around the time that I started controlling earlier tonight. So that had to be like around, what would that be, 4 o'clock Pacific time.
Oakland Center, last 592 is back with you.
Sky X03 Romeo, turn 20 degrees left to intercept the final, just to confirm too. It looks like you turned off to the right.
Turning 20 degrees left to intercept final 4403 Romeo.
No call approach for Redwood 1599. Possible switch over to the ILS to a left.
Redwood 1599, yeah, we can do that as well. After Menlo, cleared ILS, runway 28 left, approach.
Alright, after Menlo cleared ILS to 8 left, we just had a cloud patch in front of us. We wouldn't be able to spot it. Redwood 1599.
Okay, roger. Alaska 592, I believe you said you were back on. If that was him or if that was someone else that was calling.
Can you repeat last for Alaska 592?
Alaska 592, I believe you said you were checking back in. I just wanted to confirm.
That is affirmative.
Roger. Delta 123, taxi via Alpha to the ramp, this frequency. Have a good night.
The Alpha to the ramp, your frequency. Have a good night, Delta 123.
Yeah, because when you were flying in from Centennial, yeah, there was we had the guy coming in from Salt Lake, and yeah, it cleared him for a Roaring Fork visual approach. He was a little bit too high, joining the final. There was no way that I was going to be able to approve a 360 where he was in time to beat you into the airport, just looking at the speeds. So that's why I just I was like, well, if he can maintain his own terrain clearance and stuff, you know, I'm like, okay, this will work out. We'll just do the left 180 to join the downwind, and then follow you in. So it all worked out. And I mean, you know, at that point, spacing wise and stuff, it was fine and legal. So. A little non-conventional, but you know that's the tricky thing with Aspen too. It's like you've got to be slow in order to really, especially if you're flying a jet, you've got to be slow in order to really nail the approaches, even the visual approach. Sky X03 Romeo is 7 miles from Donnie. Maintain 4,300 until established on the localizer. Cleared ILS Yankee runway 27 approach.
Maintain 4,300 till established. Cleared for the ILS Yankee 27 for 403 Romeo.
Alaska 592, contact Oakland Center 127.45.
Can you repeat to that 127 point, what was that?
Alaska 592, 127.45.
Over to 127.45 for...
Alaska 744, contact Seattle Center 135.15, 3515.
35.15, Alaska 744.
Redwood 1599, reset transponder, squawk 5250, receiving a duplicate.
5230
Brooklyn Center,
for
Alaska
1599.
592 with you.
Redwood 1599 5250.
All right, 5250 over 1599.
Alaska 592, Oakland Center, Roger.
Seattle Center, Alaska 744 is 26 miles from Rufus at 30,000.
Alaska 744, Seattle Center, Roger. Hey, Feeler, when you're checking into, it's always flight levels when you're above 180. So flight level 300. Don't, because if you check in with thousands of feet, we're liable to think that you're on a local altimeter setting and you're not using pressure altitude or standard altitude altimeter 299 So yeah, it should be flight level 300. You don't need to give us a position report when you're checking in either if you're on a radar handoff, because I can see where you are. The controller knows where you're located, so all you need to do is just check in with your altitude. If anything, too, which I'd like to see more pilots do on the network, is actually give us a ride report, too. Like, let us know how your flight conditions are. So, when you're checking in, it would just be like Seattle Center, Alaska 744, flight level 300 smooth, or continuous light, occasional moderate. Or, if it's like bad turbulence, severe chop or something like that. Just give us a ride report
1599.
so we can pass it along. Redwood 1599, contact San Francisco Tower 120.5, and do you have another question?
No, it was just for the switch over for 1599.
1599, Roger. Tower now 120.5.
All right, 20.5, 1599.
The only time that you need to give a position report is if you're...
San Francisco Tower, good evening, Redwood 1599, check-in for 28 left.
Redwood 1599, San Francisco Tower, runway 28 left, wind to calm, clear to land.
All right, 28 left, clear to land, Redwood 1599.
Alaska 744, descend at pilot's discretion, maintain flight level 240.
Descend at discretion 240, Alaska 744.
The only time that you need to give a position report is if you're checking in with ATC from a non-radar situation. So, like, an example would be like the Skyhawk here coming out of Sunnyside. Ideally, it would help if he were to give us a position report when he checked in initially, like with Chinook departure. It's like, Chinook departure to November 4403 Romeo, 2 miles north of Sunnyside Airport. So you're giving a distance and a position relative to the airport. So I know exactly where to start looking on the radar scope for somebody. Climbing through, 2,000 for 4,000 or for 6,000, whatever. So then I can also look and be like, okay, if he's the only target there, that's going to be him. So that's positive radar identification. But, you don't have to do a position report unless we don't have you on radar. And the same goes for like VFR flight following requests too. Like if you're cold calling us, give us a position and an altitude. And again, you wouldn't want to say 30 miles from. You'd want to say like 30 miles west of Reno Airport or something like that, for an example. So you got to give a position relative to a cardinal direction from a major, preferably like a major point, like a VOR or an airport or something. Yeah, the other thing is too is that in reality they do slow aircraft down going into Aspen. I think they actually give a speed restriction of like 200 knots. That's what we have SOP'd anyway. I think it's a little bit overkill to be that slow, so I usually just go to 210 or less. The book says, within 20 flying miles, not less than 210. So I just like to go down to 210. But yeah, I wanted to pull you back just to let him cruise in. He was a 100 plus knot overtake anyways, speed wise. So even though you guys were DAT over red table, he was going to be number one just looking at the speeds because he had the tailwind and straight in approach for the most part. So that's why I pulled you back. But yeah, I mean, in general though, we do try to pull everybody back. I'm pretty cautious about watching speeds.
Off on Quebec.
Redwood 1599, Roger. Taxi via Kilo and Alpha to the ramp. Monitor ground point 8.
All right, Kilo Alpha to the ramp. Ground point 8. Redwood 1599. Have a good night.
Cardinal directions are overrated for VFR. Landmarks are better. Okay, I guess if we know the landmark, we are 3 miles to the west of the Red Barn. Okay, great. Which red barn? And Keith has used that example on his stream a few times. Like, yeah, don't call ATC and say you're 3 miles west of the red barn, because they're not going to have a clue what you're talking about. No, you don't need the position report unless you're going into a non-radar environment or you're coming from a non-radar environment into a radar environment. That's the only time that you really need to worry about giving a position report. Or, you know, if it's like a required point that you need to report it on a chart or something, that'd be another situation. But usually that would just be indicative of an area that's non-radar to begin with. All right, let's get this guy over to Yakima Tower. Skag 03 Romeo, contact Yakima Tower 133.25.
Tower 133.25, 4403 Romeo.
Yakima's a little dicey right now, too. Whoops.
Yakima Tower says a 4403 Romeo, inbound on the ILS Yankee for 27.
Skag 4403 Romeo, Yakima Tower, wind calm, runway 27, clear to land.
Clear to land, 27, 4403 Romeo.
So, anyways, yeah, things are slowing down a little bit here in the west. Just basically have the Skyhawk clear to land into Yakima. Fueler's flying with us here, Alaska 744. He'll be on a pilot's discretion descent to 240, landing in Medford, which is over here. And then just our Alaska overflight here, heading to John Wayne. He'll be with us for another 8 minutes or so. So Medford's looking. Yep, that just keeps getting worse too. I think, actually, I think Medford may even have some RVR equipment there. I'm gonna take a look. Yep, they sure do. So yeah, runway 14 touchdown RVR is now 2,600 and decreasing. 32 is the same. And it, yeah, they would most likely be 14 right now. that's a given. ILS 14. Looks like Brandon's going to join us for a flight. Yeah, that's like the only thing that you could fly in there right now. I don't think there's none of the other approaches are going to get you down below below the clouds enough. So you're kind of stuck. That's like the only thing. Brandon's going there too. Seattle to Medford. Dude, like one of my favorite breweries is from the area. Rogue. They make all sorts of good stuff. What is it? It's they have the Dead Guy Ale or whatever it's called. That's like that's really good stuff. Rogue Brewing. Yeah, Rogue Ales Brewery, founded in 1988 in Ashland, Oregon. I can actually get their beers in North Dakota, which is nice. I know that they're probably pretty much all over the nation now, but I remember when that stuff was fairly new. I used to get the Dead Guy Ale all the time. Pretty good stuff. It's like freaking like 8%, 9%, something like that. That's my kind of beer. Alaska 744, descend to pilot's discretion, maintain a 12,000, 12,000, Medford altimeter 30, Medford altimeter 29er.
Down to 12,000 at pilot's discretion and to 9er. Alaska 744.
At least the weather is getting better here too in Florida. Like we were pretty chilly last week. Have a look and I think we were supposed to be like the 70s most of this week. Yeah, it's gonna be nice now. 73 tomorrow, 76 Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's gonna be really nice until looks like it cools off again over the weekend a little bit. Even North Dakota looked like it was about to turn around a little bit too. Super cold weather going on up there. So yeah, 30 degrees right now. That's actually not bad. 23 tomorrow, 31 Tuesday. Oh yeah, look at this though. Wednesday night. So Wednesday we go, looks like a little snowstorm is coming through. Blustery, mostly cloudy, chance of snow. The low Wednesday night goes from 26 to -7. And then a high of -1 on Thursday, -14 overnight. So right back into the freezing tundra. It's definitely that's the one downfall to leaving here. It's really gonna be crappy going back to that weather. But it's gonna be nice to be back on the home computer system, just because I'm already missing it. You can only do so much, controlling for an extended period of time. I need to find other stuff to do too. So I heard I don't know, some of you guys are into the truck simulator stuff. I know some people were asking me about it earlier. I did end up buying ETS2. I got that on a Christmas sale for Steam, so I'll be installing that when I get back up north. But we were just talking. I was talking to one of my moderators and stuff on my break, and they were saying something happened to the ATS server. Like I guess it got hacked or something. So I don't know if anyone's familiar with what's going on with that whole story, but my buddy tried to connect to it then, and it did say it was down. And now they're saying something about where it may not be coming back. So what are they going to do? Just shut down the whole multiplayer side of trucker of American Truck Sim or what? That's kind of disappointing. I mean, I definitely am looking forward to getting into the ETS stuff. It looks like the map is a little bit more developed and there's a lot more people that are on the Euro Truck side of things. But I mean, yeah, gonna want my dose of ATS from time to time too. That's not cool. Whatever happened there. There's like a Reddit article on it though, Zodius. I don't know if you're still in here, if you have that, or I didn't get a chance to read it. I didn't look through it. But that's really going to be a bummer if something happened to ATS. Geez, man, Skyhawk. It took him like 10 minutes to get to the threshold from the time I switched him to tower. Oh, there's the link. Okay, yeah, I'll have to take a look at this. Okay, yeah, I'll have to look through this here in a little bit. Yeah, Fueler, when you check in with approach, you'll want to, basically, when you check in with approach, it's always altitude information that you want to check in with, you know, for mode C verification. When you're going from a new facility to another new facility, you should always make sure that you're including the altitude information. So, you know, just whatever altitude you're leaving, what you're descending to. If you're on like a
Seattle clearance Delta 4308 information uniform ready to copy to Medford.
if you're on like a pilot discretion, or if you're on like a pilot nav descent, descend via clearance, you can just say descending via the arrival. Delta 4308 Seattle clearance cleared to Medford Airport Harbor 6 departure, FEPOT transition that is filed. Climb via the SID, maintain 9,000, squawk 4405.
Okay, cleared to Medford via the Harbor 6 VPOT, and then it's filed. Climb via the SID, accept, maintain 9,000, squawk 4405, Delta 4308.
Delta 4308, read back correct? So yeah, you check in with that. You want to have the ATIS information on initial contact with approach as often as you can get a hold of that information. And then, yeah, if you have an approach request, that's also the time to make that transmission too, as you know, requesting ILS runway 14 approach, or if you had something else in mind. If you're indifferent to the approach, you don't have to make an approach request, but you certainly can. All right, let's get start flashing Alaska down to ZLA. Alaska 744, contact Cascade approach 124.3.
Cascade approach 124.3, Alaska 744.
I don't have all these frequencies committed to memory, so that's why I'm zooming in to just take a look at that real quick. Alaska 592, contact LA Center 133.55. Good night.
Over to LA Center 133.55 for 592. Good night.
Cascade approach Alaska 744 is at 13,000 for 12,000. Would like to request the ILS 14 approach.
Alaska 744, Cascade approach. Roger, expect vectors ILS runway 14 approach, and so enable verify information Papa.
We do have the weather on board. Information Papa at Memphis for Alaska 744.
Alaska 744, thank you. Runway 14 RVR 1,600 and increasing.
RVR is 1,600 and decreasing. 744.
Increasing. What's up, man? How's it going, Stinky? So I'm just pulling the RVR stuff from the FAA website here. You can see here's the touchdown for 14, 1,600. The plus indicates it's increasing. And this is updating like every 60 seconds or so. And then rollout's also indicating the same here for, well, 3-2 arrival in or 1-4 rollout. Alaska 744, descend and maintain 10,000.
10,000, Alaska 744.
And those of you guys that are new to the stream here, you can see the Medford weather here just with this. And we're showing the RVR for runway 14 at 1,600 right now. So it's going to be a bit of an interesting approach. Scrub Hippo, VRC not working. The sector files, okay. Yeah, they can be. It's not the most user-friendly application, that's for sure. You got to know a little bit about, you know, dropping the files in, and then also like checking the diagrams and stuff and seeing, because everybody sets them up differently. There's like no standard to how they're set up on VATSIM. Every facility has their own thing. That's why I kind of like ERAM and I like VStars, because it's like very simple. You just download the package, your facility puts it together, double click on it, open it up within ERAM or VStars, and it's like you're good to go. There's the files. You just have to know how to use the software, how to turn the maps up and down and stuff. Intensity-wise, get the correct maps on. It's not too bad, though. Alaska 744, turn right heading 320, vectors to final.
320, Alaska 744.
So we're going to have to go out on the downwind here for about 20 miles or so, because we have to turn on outside of Sammy. That's just due to the approach limitations with terrain. So like if I pull the 1-4 approach chart up here, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Like here's Sammy. If I come down to the profile view, you'll see Sammy at or above 7, Fista 59, 47 at Amaze. Osage is 38, and then if we come back to the scope, you can look at the minimum vector altitudes. I know they may not be coming through the most clear on screen. You guys may not see this as easily as I can.
Ground Delta 4308, South Satellite. We're coming out of with uniform ready to taxi.
Seattle, there we go. Delta 4308, Seattle ground, runway 16 left, taxi via Bravo.
16 left, taxi via Bravo, Delta 4308.
Anyways, just because of the approach altitudes, I can't really work him down low enough on a vector below these minimum vector altitudes to join anywhere inside. So we've got to basically vector to join outside of Sammy. That's like the best we can do. Trying to use Houston's. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know anything about Houston's files or anything. It's not an area that I've become involved with. So anyways, yeah, I figured I'd leave you up high at 10,000 for a little bit because there's no reason to really start descending just yet. Plus, you can go fast. That's the other reason too. I didn't put a speed restriction on you, Fueler. So at 10, you can go fast. Below 10, you gotta slow to 250 or less. But we're gonna be getting you lower here within the next minute or so anyway. So. What's up, Chaos? How's it going, man? Alaska 744, descend to maintain 7,100.
7,100, Alaska 744.
I just realized something. I totally forgot to give the Skyhawk taxi to the ramp. I think he just disconnected, though. Alaska 744, turn left heading 230.
230, Alaska 744.
So we're just going to work him onto the base now. We'll have the 170 heading or so to join the final. It's a couple of cool tricks that I'll talk about in later streams and stuff, especially when I get back up north where I can actually draw on the scope and stuff with Epic Pen. Where I'll show you guys a couple of vectoring tricks that will work like 95% of the time.
4308 will be ready when reaching 16 left.
Delta 4308, Seattle Tower, runway 16 left, cleared for takeoff, wind to 150 at 5.
Cleared for takeoff, 16 left. Delta 4308.
Alaska 744, turn left heading 170, intercept runway 14 localizer.
170 and intercept the localizer, Alaska 744.
Alaska 744 is 3 miles from Sammy, cross Sammy at or above 7,000, I'm sorry, maintain 7,100 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 14 approach.
Maintain 7,100 and cleared ILS 14, Alaska 744.
See if the RVR, it's getting a little worse now, 1400 and decreasing. Let's see this just updated again here. 1200 now. This is updating about every minute or so. Now, obviously, I mean, depending on what kind of weather engine he's running, you know, this is not going to be totally accurate, but visibility is 1/2. It's definitely going to be a hairy approach, that's for sure. I don't know how long Brandon's flight is, but it's going to be pretty close to network close when he's getting into Medford.
Approach Alaska 744 is established.
Alaska 744, Roger. It's another report you actually don't need to make, Fueler. You don't have to advise ATC that you're established. We can physically see it. The only time that you would ever need to report something like that is if ATC requested it for some reason. The only time that I ever request people to report established on something is if they're landing at a non-towered airport. And even sometimes if I'm not busy, I won't even request it because I can just sit there and watch if it's like you're the only traffic. But I just do it as an auditory reminder to myself. Yeah, I got to switch that guy to advisory frequency. But yeah, that's a report. That's like a VATSIMism. A lot of pilots think, oh yeah, we got to let them know we're established. No, you definitely don't have to do that. Delta 4308, contact Seattle departure.
Departure Delta 4308.
We'll get Brandon climbing
Seattle
here.
departure Delta 4308, 2600 climbing via the SID.
Delta 4308, Seattle departure, radar contact, climb and maintain 15,000.
15,000 Delta 4308.
Try to shortcut him on the departure here a little bit too. Let's turn this on. You guys can kind of see the track of the departure, or maybe not. Oh, I guess we don't have that one in here for some reason. It's not there. Interesting. Have to look at the sector file, see what's going on with that. Alaska 744, disregard.
Say again, I'm sorry, for Alaska 744.
Alaska 744, contact Medford Tower 119.4 now.
119.4, Alaska 744.
I had to look up the frequency.
Medford Tower, Alaska 744, ILS 14.
Alaska 744, Medford Tower, runway 14, wind 200 at 3, touchdown RVRs 1,200, roll out 1,200 and increasing, clear to land.
Clear to land 14, Alaska 744.
All right, let's do... see where else Brandon's got direct to, try to shortcut him a little bit more. I guess it's just going to be direct Rogue Valley.
Departure Delta 4308.
Go ahead, sir.
We've got a problem with our landing gear. We're going to have to return to Seattle.
Okay, Delta 4308, turn right, heading 350, vectors to Seattle Airport, and descend at pilot's discretion, maintain 6,000.
Okay, 350 and pilot's discretion to 6,000 Delta 4308.
Delta 4308, clear to Seattle Airport via radar vectors.
Okay, clear to Seattle via radar vectors, Delta 4308. Say again the heading.
Delta 4308, turn right heading 360 now. Delta 4308, turn right heading 360.
360 Delta 4308.
Yeah, it might be a European thing, to be honest with you, Falls. I'm not really sure about that. Maybe that's something that that's like ICAO recommendations or something. I'm not really sure about that. Maybe that's how it caught on so much with U.S. pilots. Delta 4308, expect vectors ILS runway 16 center approach. If you have another request, please advise.
Vectors for the ILS 16 center, Delta 4308, that'll be fine.
Delta 4308 information, Victor's current at Seattle, ceiling 1000 broken, altimeter, correction, altimeter 295.
Roger, thanks.
Looks like Feeler made it down. That's good. Alaska 744 exit right when able, join Alpha to the ramp this frequency.
Alpha to the ramp this frequency, and right at minimums is when I finally had the lights in sight.
Alaska 744, roger. Yeah, it's definitely, I kind of figured it was going to be down to the wire with that approach for sure. All right, so we'll get vectors here to get Brandon onto the 16 center approach here. Just kind of working him towards the downwind right now. Hey, I'm going to have to get up and stretch after this too. I've just been sitting down too long. Delta 4308, descend to maintain 5,000.
5000 Delta 4308.
What's going on, ATC seller? How's it going, man? Just Cause 2. Just Cause 2 air traffic control server. Can't say that I'm familiar with that. The name kind of rings a bell. I'm not sure what that is, though. Gonna keep Brandon on this heading for a couple more miles here. We'll return base. He'll be landing 16 center here at Seattle. It looks like he is going to be our last customer here for a little while. And the reason I'm keeping Brandon up at 5 right now is because of the Bravo. Idea is, to use the Bravo to your advantage and stuff. Plus, if I were to just go straight down to 4, he'd be outside of the Bravo. He would have been outside of the Bravo for a better part of like 8 to 10 miles or so. Delta 4308, turn right, heading 070, and descend to maintain 4,000.
Okay, 070 down to 4,000, Delta 4308.
But again, too, the other thing to keep in mind going underneath the Bravo is he would have to slow to 200 knots. So, I mean, he's already a little bit slow right now as is, but unnecessary speed reduction. So use the Bravo to your benefit when you're vectoring and stuff. It's there for a reason. Let's fly to the ancestral home of Donald Duck. I think I'm missing a joke there. Parents have a friend at Cleveland Center. That's cool. So kind of the trick is when you're on like a 90-degree base vector here to the final, look at the ground speed. So he's showing about a $180 right now. So 1.8 miles from the localizer. If you give the turn, and they're in the turn roughly at the same time that you give it to them, they should join the final pretty well. You don't have to worry about overshooting issues or undershooting issues. Delta 4308, turn right heading 130, intercept runway 16 center localizer.
130, intercept localizer, Delta 4308.
Delta 4308, 3 miles from Anvil, cross Anvil at or above 3,200, cleared ILS runway 16 center approach.
Okay, cross Anvil at above 3,200, cleared ILS 16 center, Delta 4308.
Pretty much right at Magnum, so I figured I'd just give it off Anvil. It's a little bit easier. Could have had him cross Magnum at 4 too, since that's a step down fix, but we'll just go down to 32. Bravo goes down to 3 here anyways. Our MVA is 2100 underneath. Delta 4308, contact tower at Soto 119er.9er.
100.9 at Soto. Delta 4308.
Just waiting on Brandon to check in with the tower here, get him a landing clearance. I'm going to need to stand up and stretch for a minute. So hopefully everything works out and he's able to hit this approach on the first try.
Shuttle Tower Delta 4308 is ILS 16 center.
Delta 4308, Seattle Tower runway 16 center, clear to land, wind to 14085.
Clear to land 16 center, Delta 4308.
Yeah, I've seen that one before. ATC. Sorry, that's actually a true story. It was an SR-71 pilot that minus the speeds, but it's I guess according to the pilot, he made like a ground speed check with it was like Albuquerque Center or something. I don't know. You can find that clip on YouTube of that guy talking about it and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I suspect that the story is a little stretched, a little exaggerated. Maybe not the speeds, but the actual story itself. Yeah, Fueler, no problem, man. Thanks for flying. Appreciate the traffic. We'll catch you again sometime this week, probably. Delta 4308, cross runway 16 left at Mike. Join Bravo to the ramp. Monitor ground point 7 on the other side.
Okay, cross 16. Verify cross 16 left.
Delta 4308, cross runway 16 left. Join Bravo to the ramp. Monitor ground point 7 on the other side.
Okay, we'll cross 16 left and then monitor ground taxi the ramp.
That's it. Brandon was our last customer for the time being, so we are coming up on that time of network close. So we got about 40 minutes left. What I'm going to do here is just take a really quick break. And as always, when I do this, I usually put the speaker system out, so I can hear. So when I do walk away from the computer, I'm never too far away from it. But just going to take a short break here, stand up and stretch for a minute. So I'll be back in just a couple minutes, guys. Okay, guys, just coming back right now. Sorry about that. Just had to take a quick breather here and turn the camera back on. Take a quick breather. Just needed to stretch for a minute, so I'm in the tail end of my my shift here. Aerosim Gaming, thank you, dude. Rush, how you doing, sir? Appreciate the host, man. Thank you so much. Welcome, Rush viewers. Ground Point Niners ATC stream here. We're just unfortunately coming up on network close for PilotEdge, so we got about 30 minutes left here. So I figured I'd keep the stream running. I literally just got back from a couple-minute break. So looks like most of the traffic is pretty much dwindled down at this point, as you can tell. But it was a pretty good night tonight. Pretty good turnout. Good traffic for the most part. It's pretty typical for it to kind of slow down in the last half hour, last 45 minutes or so. But yeah, appreciate the host. Thank you so much, sir. Hope you're doing well. Trying to keep up with your streaming here too. I saw you were doing some flights earlier. I was wondering if you were going to come down and say hi. And it looks like the guys are going to be doing a group flight tomorrow. Cirrus Max has been kind of organizing some ad hoc group flights, so they're going to be starting that up at 6 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow. And I'm not sure where they're planning to fly yet. I can't recall. Zodius, I think you had the route somewhere. Just don't remember where it is. But I would imagine John Fly and the gang is going to be involved with that. So I'm sure we'll be streaming tomorrow night, probably similar times as tonight. But yeah, that's kind of all we've really got going on right now. Just not too much. Brandon was just fine with us. Just came into Seattle after a landing gear issue. Looks like all of the traffic on the network right now is down in LA though, and it's not much even down there. There's only a few people connected. Jonesy sounds good, man. Yep. I'm sure there'll be a decent turnout for that. They'll probably have at least 8 to 10 show up for that. So. But yeah, so that's basically all that's going on. Yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything about PilotEdge, feel free. I also control on VATSIM as well. We're gonna be reintroducing that content into the streaming probably once I get back up to North Dakota. That's where I reside. I'm actually in Florida right now on vacation, but we're doing some Minneapolis Center stuff, using some different radar clients, a bunch of that. So yeah, here's the group flight information here. You'll see my bot just popped it out here. It's going to be Seattle to San Francisco tomorrow. And that'll probably take about 2 hours, give or take. I don't know what this arrival is that they're planning to file. Stellar 2 arrival. Actually, I'm not too familiar with this one. This one's supposed to be like a replacement for, or no. This is actually supposed to set them up for the 1-9 approach. So not the Stellar. More than likely, it's unless the bay does turn for some reason, it would more than likely be the Bodega 2 arrival instead. Not that that's a hard change to make. But yeah, Rush, I guess he took off already. But yeah, appreciate the host. Thank you. I don't know if you're actually here or not. I've been keeping up on Rush's streaming here, especially with I'm really into watching him build the airplane and stuff. I think that's such a neat concept to get into that and actually stream like all the process of like building the parts and putting everything together. But that's a pretty sick hangar that he's got going on to that deal that he's got together with that. So fun stuff. Always enjoy watching Russia streams. Very informative. like I said too, eventually we'll be getting into some other content in regards to doing some flight simulation stuff as well. My hope is to get on and actually do some flights with Rush and John Fly and Cirrus Max and Josh Gibbs. Everybody get together and partake in some of these group flights when I actually have time off. Well, I'm going to be on a regular schedule this week, so I'll be streaming this whole week, every night actually, early afternoon, and then we'll have streams in the evening too. Get that schedule put up on the Discord. So click the follow button if you want to watch some ATC streaming, and we'll get that schedule up and stuff too. So I'll have some pretty lengthy streams early parts of this week.
Mr. Leahy, what the hell happened? Where's the roof of our car?
Junior TSF, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it, buddy. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, this is the easy part of the job. I get paid and I get to sit here and watch an empty scope. So it was good turnout tonight though. Those of you guys that were around earlier and stuff, we definitely had some significant traffic, some good numbers in the west. It's always good to see. It makes the shifts go by so much quicker too when we've got traffic and there's more to focus on, more to do. Entertaining evening for the most part.
Mr. Leahy! Mr.
You
Leahy!
guys missed some good weather though earlier.
Where's the roof of our car?
Salt Lake City was pretty socked in earlier. I think they still kind of are right now too. Just looking at the weather. Yeah, it's still 1/8 of a mile there right now. You guys can use the command here too. This should work. Let's try that for Salt Lake. I have to wake the bot back up again. There it goes. There's San Francisco. Hopefully it'll pop out with Salt Lake here. Salt Lake was pretty sucked, and then we had a number of people flying into Salt Lake earlier. A couple guys went missed. It was down to even worse conditions than this too. It was down to, let's see if we can get it up here again. It was down to 1/16 of a mile, and it's been ages since I've seen a visibility indication that low on a METAR. That's for sure. RVR was even lower than what it's showing now too. It was down to like 800. So we're talking Cat 3 approach criteria. And then we had Feeler come into, I think he's left the stream, but he went into Medford. Medford was actually pretty socked into. We're supposed to have Brandon flying down there, but ended up experiencing a landing gear issue. So he had to return to Seattle, unfortunately. Airplane Man 321, thank you for the follow, sir. And New Bus, welcome to the stream, guys. Appreciate the follows. One of these days here, we got to get Rush flying with ATC again. It's probably been like a better part of at least a month and a half since I've actually worked Rush on a stream flying around over here. But I know he's been tied up building that airplane and stuff, so which makes sense. Junior, yeah, so basically, I don't know like how familiar you are with the PilotEdge network and stuff. I would assume if you're coming, from Rush's stream, you should know something about it. But we're providing an air traffic control service, basically, 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I'm one of the controllers that's on the network. So basically, what we're looking at here, and you can kind of see the outline of the western United States. So we're talking. This is the west coast of the U.S. here. These are all the centers. These solid white lines are indicating airspace boundaries, basically. So it's like we've got Seattle Center up here, Salt Lake Center, Denver Center, Albuquerque Center, Los Angeles Center, and Oakland Center. Los Angeles is a separate entity right now, so there's another controller that's down working this chunk of airspace. But I'm providing coverage, top-down coverage to the rest of the facility. So all these airports, anything with the magenta is a Class Charlie airport. Anything with the blue is going to be a Bravo airport. We provide service, top-down service to a number of Class Delta airports as well throughout the airspace, and we're still adding a few more. So, and then, nutshell, that's what we're looking at here, just the airspace from a top-down viewpoint. So, as we zoom into, like, we can zoom into Aspen, Colorado Springs, and Denver, so you can see the radar video maps. These are the approach control airspaces, which sit underneath the en route sectors. So, like Denver's like surface to flight level 210, Aspen over here surface to 20, Colorado Springs surface to 17 down here. So, just to give you an idea. And then the video maps will also indicate final approach courses that we can vector to, if that makes sense. So that's more or less what we're looking at here. And then all of these little yellow targets that you see are, most of them are drone traffic that's flying around on the network. So, and the V indicates that they're VFR with the transponder turned on, and the altitude information is the only thing that we see on these targets. So it's very possible that these, like it could be a real person that's flying one of these. We would not know unless they decided to call us up and talk to us, though. Or we could cheat and look on the PilotEdge map as well. But there's nobody flying right now since we're so close to network close, unfortunately. But that's what you're seeing here. So everything that's moving around, these are drone traffic. They stay outside of controlled airspace, or I should say, they stay outside of they stay outside of Bravo, Charlie, and Delta airspace. Just flying around in the Echo and stuff. So, but that's all traffic that you can see. So if you're logged onto the network flying, that's part of the experience, so to speak. So it provides like a level of immersion to see and avoid. Live Plasmic, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it, man. So hopefully that kind of makes sense, Junior. If you have any other questions, feel free to fire away, man. I got 20 minutes of staring at this stuff, so like we can have a look and see like what ZLA is working right now too. Harold's down there, I think, working still, or Chase is on right now. But we can look at his traffic just real quick and pull this up. So he's working just a few guys right now down in Southern California. We talked to Alaska earlier. He was flying down from Portland, so he's coming into John Wayne. Actually, take a look at John Wayne's weather really quick too. 6 and haze. I guess he wanted to do a opposite direction approach there. It looks like we got a couple guys just flying VFR coming down the coast here too, towards San Diego. The client itself like very much looks the same way. CDN, good to see you too. Welcome. But it's almost identical, like the visual representation of how traffic looks, how the scope looks, how the overall layout of the windows are and stuff. It's pretty similar. I mean, you can customize like the way that these windows are shaped and how large certain areas are and whatnot, and you can change the colors of the scope and whatnot too. The color profile I'm using though is an FAA color profile, just because it's easier on the eyes for the most part. But it's pretty similar. Like you can use this client in particular, which is, again, we have a customized version for use on PilotEdge, which is called VRC, the one that's on VATSIM. So this is an adapted version of VRC that we run on here called VS ProScope. But visually speaking, it looks identical to some of the stuff that you can run on VATSIM. Yeah, and that's what I was saying before is like you'll see me do some streams going forward. I'll be doing some content. We'll be reintroducing VATSIM streams into some of this with the ATC stuff. So I'll be doing some use of ERAM, VERAM software, which you can see. You can click on information about that too on the bottom of my panels. If you go down below the video here, I've got stuff on ERAM and VSTARS, so you can actually look at that and see what those look like. The ERAM client's more realistic for use for en route control, working center positions, and the VSTARS client is more realistic to working approach control. So on here, it wouldn't really be effective for us to integrate that because of the nature of the top-down service that we provide. So that's most of the reason why we don't use it on here. It just would not be efficient for us to run it. So it's not, both of those clients are not super top-down friendly, if that makes sense, where it's like if you need to provide ground control as well as center control, it's not designed to be most effective or efficient to use that for a ground control client. So it wouldn't really be good for us to use it on here, considering I might be the only one working everything top down, if that makes sense, and not just me, anyone else too, for that matter. So, John Wayne's local airport, nice. Yeah, I like that area, man. I got a bunch of friends that live down around there. Yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, I have no problem sitting in and observing and stuff when it comes to working on VATSIM. That's not a problem. Yeah, we'll get back into that once I get back up north and stuff, and I get on my regular computer setup. So it'll be way easier to start doing that stuff. Looks like he's got somebody coming out to Palm Springs here now too. Let's have a look at the flight plan. Some of these guys, I don't think they're going to make it before network close. Like this guy here, he won't make Palm Springs. Okay, Alaska's getting vectored for the visual approach to 20, right? That's what's going on here. I'll be back in my regular computer setup as of pretty much February 1st. So yeah, I leave Florida on January 31st to go back to the frozen tundra up north. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed your question, Plasmic. You were asking, how do you decide when to do a handoff? Well, basically, if I'm handing off to another controller that's working, you basically just want to make sure that the radar handoff is conducted, prior to the aircraft crossing into the next controller, the receiving controller's airspace. That's got to be finished by then. The communications transfer also needs to occur, which is separate from the radar handoff. Transferring radar and transferring communications are two separate steps. But the communications transfer has to be completed, and the pilot should be checking in with the next controller prior to entering that controller's airspace. So that whole process needs to occur sometime before the receiving sector, before the pilot enters the receiving sector. Yeah, I'm visiting. Well, yeah, that's part of it. I'm visiting my folks down here. They live in the Bradenton area. So just spending a little bit of time since I work from home and I can do this. I decided to come down here for a good part of the holidays and stuff, just to spend some time with them, help them out with a few things, and yeah, get out of the cold weather. So pilot guy, I'm not sure. I don't know a whole lot about Euroscope. Honestly, I don't use it. It's the client's not designed for use to simulate realistic aspects of U.S. air traffic control. So no, I don't use Euroscope. I have not used Euroscope, so I cannot speak for it. You'd have to ask somebody that possibly works in real world out in Europe to see how legitimate using Euroscope really is, because I'm not really sure about that. I'm not surprised to hear that Chicago says that that's the best client to use. I'm not going to get into details with it, but yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm assuming that it's good for training. From what I've heard, my limited knowledge on the Euroscope client is that it's good for training, because you can set it up to do some pretty neat things when it comes to generating traffic and stuff, and having sectors to hand off to, fake sectors to hand off to. So I mean, from a training aspect, it's pretty good. Chicago in general, though, they do a lot of things very, very backwards. My experience with them has not been anything shy of problem-ridden for many, many years on the network. So, I mean, has it improved a little bit? I would say possibly, but yeah, it's not. It's definitely not the most realistic client to use when it comes to simulating U.S. air traffic control. That would not be my first choice. There's probably a lot of cool functionality and stuff that you can actually do with Euroscope, and maybe they've made that work pretty good down there. I'm not really sure, but that's not a client that I use. That's not something that when I go back to VATSIM streaming, that's not going to be something that I'm actually going to use. Mike Hatters, how's it going, buddy? ASRC, yeah, dude, I remember ASRC. That's like the, you know, that was like the first one I think that I started using. Well, we had Pro Controller first. That was back in the day, and then ASRC came out like shortly after that, or at least after I started. ASRC was, yeah, I mean, a lot of the keyboard commands were there. Like everything was pretty damn accurate. But ERAM is awesome, man. Like Ross Carlson, he's put some amazing work into that stuff. ERAM, V-Stars, it's he's got that stuff pretty souped up for simulating that stuff. Pro Controller, yep. Really dating myself now. Pro Controller, that's way back in the day. Yeah, V-Stars is awesome. And V-Stars too, like, I'm really excited to start playing around with that one more. I want to get like a backlit keyboard and stuff for it, so we've got some plans to really bring some cool level of detail and realism to the ATC streaming. But now they've got V-Stars has the whole ASDX display, so you can actually see like the surface radar, which I need to figure out how to get all that stuff working. I haven't really played around with that too much, but now you can actually like simulate like ASDX and stuff to a much higher level. What's going on, Keith? No, we're still on the west, man. I'm just watching. We're just visually watching some traffic down in ZLA since there's nothing in west right now. It is completely dead. So I feel really bad. You know, I get this host thrown my way from Rosh's stream, and it's there's not a whole lot going on at all. So just figured we'd watch Chase try to put planes into mountains or something. So. Live Plasmic. I mean, if you're looking for like, if you're looking to stay within the United States, there's quite a few that are pretty good. I'm obviously partial to Minneapolis, just because I've been part of that team for quite some time now, quite a number of years. Minneapolis, we've really turned that place into a real powerhouse. A lot of really great controllers that are part of that facility. People that are getting into this career in reality. Our ATM is in the academy right now. A lot of our other staff members are in the academy, or they've just come out of it to enter their real-world facilities. Our training administrators, an Atlanta Center controller. So I mean, there's a lot of experience. There's tons of flight experience. Just a combined total, it's a ridiculous amount of real-world experience in Minneapolis. We do have a lot of newer people that are starting to get involved, which is okay, but there's a lot of really senior guys there that are super good controllers. And like I said, too, a lot of pilot experience too. A lot of the guys that are part of Minneapolis are we have a number of people that are flown for the airlines, or they do fly for the airlines, or corporate aviation. Lots of different things. There's just a ton of knowledge floating around that facility. No, I can't, Pilot Guy, I can't use Euroscope on here. This is for this network in particular, this is the only client that we can use. So, because it's a customized version of VRC. Believe me, if I had a choice, I would definitely be using something probably more suited to, realistic ATC simulation within the U.S., such as like ERAM or combination of that client and V-Star or something like that. But for what we do, this is there's a lot of customization on the back end to this client. So, and this is the only thing that we have for PilotEdge. So, thanks for the follow. Lord Evold, thank you. Welcome to the stream. We pretty much let pilots determine what kind of weather they want to run with. So we do have, like, you know, the weather that we're receiving is coming from real world sources. Like, you know, we work traffic based upon real weather conditions. But if a pilot wants to use their own weather, that's perfectly fine, because we understand this is like a training environment. We do have a number of commercial entities that are operating on the network, and you know, people that are training to fly in reality and stuff. So flight schools will get on here from time to time during the day, and they might request, you know, hey, we're gonna fly this like solid IMC, and we want to do, you know, a different approach that's in use at an airport. So we can bend the rules a little bit and, you know, accommodate that type of stuff because of the nature of the, you know, the training. So yeah, you're basically free to use your own stuff here. University of Alaska Anchorage college degree. Somebody's selling this? Really? $25,000. Are you kidding? Man, that is really, really funny. Dude, I should do something like this to you. Oh my god, that's so funny. That is absolutely hilarious. Okay, I gotta bookmark this. This is just like one of the funniest things I've ever seen on eBay. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is just hilarious. Oh, dude, that's so awesome. Do we know who put this up? Like, this almost strikes me as this would be somebody. This would be like somebody from Batson that would probably put this up. Dude, that is just way too funny. That is so cool. It's ATC memes. Okay, that is so awesome. God, that's great. I may have to share that later. That's so funny. I'll put that up in Discord. Well, Pilot Guy, the thing is, I cannot use Euroscope. It's just, that's the problem, is there's no way to use Euroscope on here. It's not possible to link to PilotEdge with Euroscope. So, because it's an entirely separate network. When it comes to VATSIM controlling, though, I'd invite you to stop by one of my streams, take a look at that when I do get back to that. I have a lot of videos on demand too, which you may find something if you go back a little bit too, where you're going to see the ERAM client in use, stuff like that. Absolutely, yeah, Airplane Man. They got some really funny stuff on there, man. Those guys are hilarious, and yeah, it's just that they got some killer content. What a neat like concept that was to come out with something like that. Super cool. They got some, yeah, the videos are great. It's definitely pokes a lot of fun at a lot of things that controllers talk about in reality, behind the scenes. Epic Nobody, I need to ask about the whole failure thing, because there should be a there's like something that a couple people have access to where they can, like, if you have like this thing running on your computer, we can literally like fail something in the plane. And yeah, I should ask Keith about getting a hold of that, see if I can actually do that stuff, because that would actually be pretty neat to introduce content with that onto the stream. The Pilot Guy, I don't instruct anymore, just because this is basically my line of work right now on this network. So, but I'm part of the Minneapolis facility. I used to back in the day. I used to manage Chicago. I was the air traffic manager there for about 15 months. It was a very long time ago. Way too much red tape with VATSIM, just too much politics. I'm never going to go back to a position like that again, especially for free. How accurate are they to real world controlling? Well, the ERAM stuff is really good, man, and honestly the V-Star stuff too. It really is. There's some areas that they've had to forego simulation of just because of how the programming is on the back end of the network. So it's not something though that is super noticeable to your average person. Jeez, we're almost done here, guys. Too. We got about a minute left. Start to see who else is doing anything right now. Is anybody else even streaming, or am I just the only one that's up? What's Lifesaver doing? Lifesaver, we'll probably throw a host over his way here. See what he's up to tonight. Looks like he's doing some flying. But yeah, thanks for stopping by the stream tonight, guys. We only got 30 seconds left or so here, so I think I'm going to throw a host over to Lifesaver. I will be up tomorrow again from 2 to 4 Central. That's when we start out for the day. And again, make sure you get on the Discord. If you're on Discord, just jump on the Discord real quick, give me a quick follow. And I'll have all of the scheduling and stuff for the week up on there. Yeah, group flight tomorrow again. For those of you that missed that, we'll have some pretty big streamers that are going to be involved with that, and I'm sure I'll be streaming from this end as well, just so you guys can see, everything that's going on with a little bit busier traffic environment, obviously, than what we're seeing now. So, anyways, thanks again for the follows, guys. Appreciate it. Hosts, etc. I'll talk to you guys all tomorrow afternoon, hopefully. Take it easy. See ya.
Oh man, ground point 9er coming in. Oh, that's a lot of pressure. Welcome all of you guys. You guys have just tuned in just as I turn on to final into Innsbruck. Bringing in the flight factor. It's nighttime, so fortunately you guys can't see that much at the moment, but we had a beautiful sunset. What was that? Streamlabs did an update.